Hello and welcome to another Hidden Treasures tutorial. Today we're doing a card with some oil pastels, as you can see. We are going to take some paper. This is just a sketch paper. And the idea is to color the page in a way that it is symmetrical. And because the dolphin is the theme, we're going to be using different blues. And it's important to try and get the colors to blend together. I chose all pastels because they are very bright in color, but I find that it is difficult to work with them because of the texture afterwards, which is not always easy to do anything on top of, like writing or using pens, markers. But I found a way around that helps a bit. So here I am doing my symmetrical blues, and I will finish with a very light, almost yellow-green. And I'm blending it with the other colors. All right, and here comes my little trick. I'm going to turn this page over, and I'm going to use an iron. The heat from the iron is going to melt some of the oil, and it's going to make it absorb through the paper. And the idea behind that is that the oil will soak through, and then it will be easier to work on. So I didn't think I did enough. I wanted to see if I could get more oil out, so I am doing it again. The iron is hot, no steam, no water in the iron whatsoever. And I'm doing this on another piece of paper that will be used later. All right, so this is going to be the main card. I like to frame my cards, so it makes them stand out a little more. And I like to do it at the beginning, so then it's easier to center the rest of what's going to happen. I have at times done it at the end and then realized that I'm a little off center of things. So we're going to be using some paint, and here I've got silver, some blue, and some white. And we're going to be using bubble wrap as a stencil. I have found that using silver and adding it to colors make it like a metallic color, which I like. Now, I don't want too much paint because then I won't be able to see the bubbles. So I'm applying it with a plastic knife, and then I dampen it on the side before I actually put it on the card. And you want to go a little bit above the card. You don't want to start just at the edge of the card. You want it to look like it's laying over. And it's okay if sometimes you don't have too much paint and it looks like it's fading like this. This is fine. It's going to add some character to it. And the idea is to do all corners, but not exactly the same. You want them to look different. Some go more over the page, some less. And then this needs to dry. All right, that piece of paper that we used earlier, I'm going to use it to make ephemera out of. And ephemera is a term we use in art journaling in order to add things. It's an add-on. And I am trying here to draw a dolphin, which when I was doing the card, I thought was pretty good, but I have to admit now that I'm watching this video with you, well, it's not my best, but it's fine. But you can use stamps if you want to stamp and then cut it out, or you can use stencils if you rather use stencils. Now here's my dolphin cut out, and because we have bubble wrap and there's circles, we're going to make circles as well, just to add to the theme. Now I am drawing them here at the back and then cutting them out. Not easy to cut circles. Sometimes it's actually easier to do it without even doing them at the back. So here we see all the circles cut out, and I am going to glue the dolphin in the middle of the card. And now I'm going to be drawing with my pen some waves, as if it's jumping out. Honestly, it looks like Dumbo with a dolphin tail coming out of the water, but he's cute. Now I am circling the bubbles with some black pen. It's a black gel ink pen, which usually does not work very well on paper with oil pastel on it, but because we ironed it, it's actually working pretty good. Now I'm not doing every circles, only once in a while, and now I'm using my white pen. As an art journalist, this is my favorite tool whatsoever. It's a Uniball Signo, and I am adding a little bit of shading on all the bubbles, always in the same direction, and sometimes I'm also making some bubbles here and there. Now I'm going to go around my little Dumbo dolphin with my black pen to define it a little bit better. Usually it is something that I do before I glue my ephemera on the card, but once in a while I do it this way. It is totally possible. Now I'm adding a little bit of highlights with my white pen on my little waves, and also I'm going to add some on the dolphin at some point. Now I decided to use a couple of those circles to go around my little Dumbo dolphin. And here I'm using a marker. You can also use some ink pads if you have some. Actually, brown ink pads are very nice. It makes it kind of look old. But because here my theme is black accents, I'm using a black marker. And I'm going to glue that. Honestly, 2 of them I don't think is the best. Probably 3 would be better, and I may add that later on. Alright, now it's time to darken the frame. That allowed me to center all that I wanted to center. And I'm going also to use my white pen to add some highlights to it. Okay, that's the front. To do the inside of the card, it is very important in art journaling and card making that you stick with the theme that you started with. So I'm using the same color and I'm using the same type of bubbles, and I'm going to do that all around, just like we have at the front of the card. And it's kind of nice because the inside of the card isn't painted, but because we ironed it, a little bit of the oil came through, and we do have a little bit of a color in the background. Not very visible on the video, but it is more when you look at the card itself from that oil seeping through. The method is exactly the same. We're going to go around bubbles, not all of them. Sometimes you're going to make bubbles when there is none. And it's important that you group them here and there and do not make them symmetrically separated from one another, because that is not random. So you want some together, some further away. And you're going to do the shadowing in the same direction as you did on the front and make some more bubbles with the white. And sometimes you can shadow some of the painted bubbles that do not have a black circle around them, just to make it look interesting and random. You can also add some of those circles that we've made, and once again darken them before you glue them, or you can do it afterwards. It's up to you. It's not the same, it looks different, but both looks are interesting. Here I'm only going to do 3 or 4, but I think this page would benefit from doing all of them. Now, as you're gluing them, it's got to be random, and it's okay if it's on top of other bubbles. It's actually better. It looks more real. All right, so another characteristic we have on the front of the card is the frame. So we're going to carry that inside. Now I'm purposefully all along, I don't know if you have noticed, using short strokes here and there so that it is not just a fine line. I am trying to make it irregular and manly shaped. And here we are, we're done, front and back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you try something like it. At Hidden Treasures, we're always looking forward to seeing you, and we hope you had a good time, and please stay safe. Bye.